All right, sorry for the delay there, guys. There's a lot of things to set up and a lot of things to go through, and we're gonna go through them. How's it going, everybody? I'm Zach Schwartz. Welcome. These are always super fun. Let me send this off so that people know that we're live. But this is a show called NBA Hard Drive, where we're basically looking at anything and everything that's happened over the last 24, 48 hours in the NBA. Just kind of recapping dumb things, bad things. We'll preview some of the playoff matchups. That's what everyone's here for, obviously. Basically, can try and do this so that it has some shelf life. Because normally we do these in the playoffs, the NBA playoffs. Making content in the NBA playoffs is so fucking hard. Here, let me just send this off. Tap in and have lunch with me talking shit about basketball. All right, there we go. Blast it off. Okay. All right, we got Keith in the chat. Keith, glad you're here. How you doing? We might get to Duncan Robinson stats. There's not a ton. I did want to talk about this. I haven't gotten a chance to hear this full quote yet, and I know this was kind of making the rounds yesterday, so hopefully this doesn't have too much echo just because I don't want to wear headphones today. So first we're going to start here with Joel Embiid, obviously weighing in on his elimination from the playoffs as league MVP. Now, here's the thing. It's not that embarrassing for an MVP to get eliminated at this point in the playoffs. Like Embiid being eliminated when he did, it is what it is. There are MVPs that have lost in the first round. That happened to Russell Westbrook. It's happened to Dirk Nowitzki. It happens when you're an MVP. Sometimes you fuck up in the first round. He made it one round. He made it past the first round. Got eliminated in the conference semis. It is what it is. But he had this quote after the game. The pull quote that went very viral was, "Me and James, we can't win alone. That's why basketball is played 5-on-5. We need everybody to find ways to be better." Now, shout out to Detlef Schrempf here, who said, "Do better, give the whole quote." I haven't gotten a chance to watch this yet, so I did want to watch it really fast, and then we'll get through previews and how I think the East will shake out.
You can't win alone. I can't win alone. Me and James, we just can't win alone. That's why basketball is played 5-on-5. So, we just need everybody to just, try to keep finding ways to get better, and, we'll be fine. You can't win alone. I can't win alone. Me and James.
I mean, it's not the right thing to say, unfortunately, for Joel, because, I really like that Sixers team, but I think the hard thing for the Sixers is this was obvious. You took your best shot, you traded for James Harden, and James Harden just isn't like Rockets version of James Harden. I am intrigued to watch James Harden play. If James Harden goes back to the Rockets, which it seems by all accounts that he is, that shit's going to be so fucking fun to watch. Am I wrong in that? I appreciate that, Keith. But am I wrong? The Sixers took their best shot, and that was go get James Harden. If you kind of looked across the landscape, that was their best hope. They couldn't go get Kyrie because they'd already gotten Harden, and now they came up short. Now, was the process a failure? They didn't win a ring. I mean, if you're one of the hardos that's like anything that's not a championship is a failure, this is an abject failure. I don't think it is, though. I mean, they ended up building a nice roster. The hard part for me is They lost so many fucking games doing the process for like 3 years. To not have a ring makes this a failure. There are teams that have done rebuilds that have gone a lot quicker than this, and that's where I'm a little bit like, this is pretty shit. Let's see. Harden implied he can't win a championship unless Philly has 6 dudes on the court at all times. I mean, Harden basically fell apart at the very back end of this series. And, I've seen some fucking crazy-ass quotes. I don't know if anyone knows Chilltown Hoops on TikTok. Absolutely, like, unhinged takes from that man. But, like, yeah, I mean, I don't fault either of these two. I will say I wanted to ask AI how they would fix the Sixers if James Harden leaves the 76ers in free agency this offseason. The team will have a few options to improve. So this is how an AI robot would rebuild the Sixers if James Harden leaves, which he will. Like, he took the pay cut. He ain't coming back. Okay. One option would be to trade Tobias Harris's expiring contract for a package of players that could help the Sixers win now. Harris is owed $39 million next season, so the Sixers would likely need to attach draft picks or a young player to his contract in order to get a good return. Some potential targets could include Harrison Barnes, Bojan Bogdanovic, and Will Barton. I mean, bro, they're not going to get Will Barton back. Will Barton, correct me if I'm wrong, would be a downgrade. Would it not? Chat, would Will Barton not be a downgrade? Okay, I see what Keith meant. Boyan would be sick, and Harrison Barnes is good, but you're going to run into the same problem you ran into with James Harden down the stretch here, is that, like, Harrison Barnes gets real tense and real tight in playoff situations. And that's not, like, to disparage him. It's kind of always been like that. So, for you to expect anything else, hold on, I'm sorry. For you to expect anything other than him being really tight down the stretch, like, did you watch the man at North Carolina? I mean, at North Carolina, he was doing the exact same stuff, right? Like, North Carolina Harrison Barnes used to just barf on the basketball. His first game, rookie year was, hold on. They would be going backwards. I agree. I agree. I mean, unless they can go find a max player to put Harrison Barnes next to, like if they can replace Harden's value and then next to him they can go find a guy, that's great, okay? Another option for the Sixers would be rebuild around Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. I mean, that has to be the plan already, right? It's either your options for the Sixers are, which, is detailed above, rebuild around Maxey and Embiid, which if you think you can win a title with that core, which there's versions you could, great. Or it's blow it the fuck up again, which I just don't think you can look the people of Philadelphia in the eyes and be like, yeah, we're going to fucking blow this thing up again, 7 years removed from process 1.0 and see if we can fix this. It's like, you can't fucking do that. Another option for the Sixers, these are AI, for those just joining, these are AI's recommendations of how to fix the 76ers. Another option for the Sixers would be to rebuild around Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. Embiid is one of the best players in the NBA, and Maxey is a rising star. The Sixers could use their cap space to sign free agents who would complement those two players, or they could trade for young players who have potential. Some potential targets could include De'Aaron Fox. The Kings aren't fucking doing that. If they miss the playoffs, maybe the Kings would consider it. Shea, I think if you're the Thunder and you're getting Chet Holmgren back next year and, potentially another lottery pick this year, you're not going to just give Shea up. Like, the cost that the Thunder would ask for Shea is like Maxey, or the Sixers can't get Shea. Not without trading Embiid or Maxey. Like, that's just not happening. Or Jalen Brunson. Again, this is just incorrect because it's pulling from data from last year. So it thinks Jalen Brunson is still a Mav. Okay. The Sixers could also take a more long-term approach in developing their young players. Maxey, Matisse Thybulle. Okay. So AI doesn't fucking know what it's doing here. Okay, so this was something that came out. Amick, here we go. This is from Sam Amick about the Ja Morant situation. Now, for those of you that don't know, Ja Morant pulled out a gun. Ja Morant pulled out a gun again while his friend was on Instagram Live. The craziest part is how fast the internet snitched on Ja Morant. Like, Ja Morant, there were 115 people watching the stream when it happened. The fact that one of those 115 screenshot it and tweeted, there was some kid that tweeted it, like, snitching and tagged all the outlets and things like that. The fact that a 115 person audience, like, snitched on this man the way that they did, that's where it's a little bit crazy to me. It's like, you wouldn't have thought, I would have thought for sure Ja would be able to have gotten away with this one. Anyway, so Sam Amick's point here is all Ja Morant had to do was learn from his suspension. He did. Now what? Now, an expert witness, so this is Gil's, let's see. Let's just read the open, okay? Just 3 weeks ago, Ja Morant's Grizzlies were battling the Lakers in the first round of the playoffs. Retired NBA player Gilbert Arenas was asked yet again to help the rest of us understand the mentality of the Memphis star whose March 6 gun scandal had stained his reputation and threatened his career. As an expert witness goes, Arenas' perspective is as good as it gets. Obviously, Gil had the gun incident, and he's just a very, very fun guy, but obviously got into trouble for having a gun. Here's what Arenas said. He's lucky, said of Morant during his podcast, because he didn't have to sit out the whole time. He's healthy. He gets to go in and be himself again. He gets the love from the public right now. He just is 2 weeks out. Gil had to sit out 50 games. So, the NBA didn't throw the book at Ja Morant when he got into trouble, which I kind of think they fucking should have thrown the book at him. But the reality is that, Gil got the book thrown at him. And obviously what happened with Gil was like sort of an out of control situation. And then Gil laughed about it, which made matters worse. Like, for those of you that don't remember, let me see if I can find the YouTube video. Here, hold on. For those of you that don't remember, Gil obviously, they kicked Javaris Crittenton the fuck out very quickly, okay? But Gil was still with the team while the league investigated. There was like a 1 or 2 game overlap while the league investigated. And Gil, during warm-ups of that game, let's see if I can find it. I thought it's on the internet somewhere. Now, the league was investigating Gil following that incident, and during warm-ups, he did like finger guns at all the guys coming out. And, to make matters worse for the Grizzlies, I think during the playoff game they did, or maybe right before, they did like a pat-down thing, which I think they'd been doing before that. But it's one of those deals where, like, if you're someone on the Grizzlies staff or one of the players, you have to have more common sense than to, like, do that, because like people around the league are going to be like, oh, he's throwing it in our face. They cut out the pat down thing, whatever, but they didn't do shit to like dude, Ja's line publicly was he went to rehab. Like he went to rehab for kind of being an idiot, and I think the overall look was that Ja was out of control, which, like, you hope he's not. He's super young, super talented, but has a lot of money, and that can kind of happen. The kind of line that it seemed like we were being fed was that Ja maybe is drinking a lot, and that's what's leading to some of these wild and dumb decisions. It seems like there's more to it than that. Okay, that Ja, how do I put this? Basically, there is no like a rehab thing to get Ja from doing dumb shit with guns. It just is gonna have to be him understanding that like, you can't do that. He lost. Here's the most concerning part is Ja Morant lost $39 million this offseason because he fucked around and missed the All-NBA selections. He lost $39 million. And we are sitting here 2 months removed, and here he has another fucking incident. You're just sort of like, bro, how are you this fucking dumb? Like, how? You got away with it. Like, you ask any vet or any, like, old head who remembers how bad Gilbert Arenas' situation was and, like, all that shit, bro. Ja got away with it so easy. I think it was 8 games total. He had to serve, like, 2 weeks suspension. I'm pretty sure he was paid for the whole thing. He got away easy. He should have been All-NBA. Maurice is right. He should for sure have been All-NBA. Most exciting guard in the entire league. Like, it's not close. But he tricked it off. Like, they told him, don't fuck around. Like, all you got to do is play this number of games and don't be an idiot. And he screwed that up, which fine. You know what it is? Like, he's 23, 24. I get it. There's a lot of pressure on you at that age, and you want to be a kid. But, like, you got away with it the first time. You still got your Nike deal. Nike wasn't thrilled because I believe they had built their whole sneaker campaign, Ja's whole sneaker release around him being in the playoffs. Let's see. I'm pretty sure April 19th. Okay. So the shoe was slated. Here you go. Sorry, guys. Ja's shoe was slated to drop April 19th, like day one of the playoffs. And Nike obviously, like, you know what? We're going to stick with him. He's a good dude. We're not going to fuck around and ruin this for him. And instead, now they've got this headache that they owe him. They owe him a fucking lot of money. And the thing that Nike won't tell you, but what you should have learned perhaps from what you should have learned from the Kanye West Yeezy situation, and you've probably seen it maybe when a player wants to switch jersey numbers, like I think LeBron or someone wanted to change a jersey number a few years ago, and the league basically will tell that player, you can switch it, but sorry about this camera thing. I'll have to mess with that after the stream. Sorry, it keeps flickering. Basically, Nike says, or the NBA will say, is that we have so much dead stock of an item, you can't get out of this deal yet. Either you have to buy up the dead stock. So, like, there have been players, I think some NFL player wanted to switch their jersey, and it was like a fun idea of like what the number they wanted to switch to was. But the league, the NFL, was like, you have to buy up all of the dead stock jerseys if you're going to switch to this number because we've already got them printed and made. So that's kind of one thing that'll work. Now, with Kanye and Yeezy, Adidas now has so many shoes that they've made that are just dead stock sitting there that they can't release because of this stuff Kanye's done. So what they've decided is to sell all of the shoes for, like, I think extreme discount and donate all the money to a nonprofit. So that's one way. But now Nike isn't really going to do that. Like, Nike probably would, if Ja did something really horrible, Nike would just burn all of the Ja Morant shoes, or try and figure out some way to like repress the tongues and change out the emblems that say Ja Morant on them. But the reality is they've committed to Ja, not just financially, but like, well, they've committed to him in that they've paid him. But the bigger part is they now have a shitload of sneakers just stocked up, sitting around, and they're like, we can release these, right? I mean, like, was it Dalvin Cook that wanted to switch numbers? So, I mean, Kyrie does look like a saint compared to this. I still think getting rid of the Kyrie shoe, like, people love hooping in the Kyrie shoe. I think he learned his lesson. I also think that is Curtis Jones better than LeBron? I think the overall of it is that Kyrie's lesson and the punishment needs to fit the crime. So did it all fit? I think the answer is yes. Okay, I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties because this window keeps freezing up on me. Damian Lillard weighed in. I want to jump back to the Embiid stuff really fast. Damian Lillard weighed in on this. People keep saying that he's the guy that... Here, hold on. Here's the full context of the Joel Embiid quote. We got an unfinished job. We haven't won anything, and I think we've got a chance to win. Obviously, going to 7 games and having a chance to close it out at home, which we didn't do, I still believe we got the chance to win. We got what it takes to win, so obviously I don't know what's going on. I don't know, and I know he has a player option or they can extend him, but that's on the front office to figure out. I'm going to stay out of it. But I still believe that me and him, we got a chance to win. But it's going to take more than us. We all got to look at ourselves. I got to be better. I will be better. That's what I'm focused on. All of us. We got to come back and find ways to just keep improving. I think he kind of caught himself here. I still think the quote isn't great, but whatever. All of us find ways to keep improving, help this team win. We can't win alone. We can't win alone. Me and James, we just can't win alone. That's why basketball... See, it's like people are like, you're taking the quote out of context, and it's like, it's still not a kind quote to his teammates. Like, he's still saying we can't win alone. I mean, like, the biggest shot there is probably at, like, you know, I mean, we can pull up the box score. I mean, dude, like, it's the man in the mirror that kind of let Joel Embiid down. I mean, Horford had him in hell that whole series. I mean, you're coming off the MVP, like, you can't be that bad out of the gates. Was it 14th? Okay, here you go. Box score. We'll just run through this really quick, and then we'll preview. All right, so 76ers. Here you go. I mean, like, you know, Tobias Harris gave you 19, but was minus 21. Joel Embiid, minus 28. Tyrese Maxey, minus 31. Like, but that's going to happen when you get, you know, the barn doors blown off. You know, Niang gave them a fucking nothing burger, played 4 minutes. Melton is good, but, you know, 1 for 5 from 3. Like, what the fuck are we doing? You know, you knew the box scores were coming, folks. Like, you knew. You've been here before. I think Nike likes Ja, and I think Nike's probably trying to figure out someone that they can send to go talk to Ja Morant and tell him to figure it the fuck out. You know, Nike and big agencies and even the league, the Lakers have done this. Like, when Kobe first got drafted, there famously was like a guy that kind of like followed Kobe around as almost like a pseudo babysitter to make sure that, like, putting a guy in a city with, like, you know, millions of dollars and just being like, you'll be fine, right? I mean, bro, if you went to college, you know how fucking weird it is trying to figure out, like, your life, paying rent, eating not like a shithead. And granted, that's like for someone who was either on a budget or, you know, whatever. And so for Ja to have $200 some odd million, $100 and some odd million given to him at that age and just be like, you'll be fine, right? It's hard. That being said, someone needs to pull him aside and be like, hey, guy, you can't fucking do this stuff. And I don't know if it's going to be Nike. I don't think the Grizzlies owner is hands-on enough to fix that situation. I've heard he's a very weird guy. It's not on Jaren Jackson. It's not on Steven Adams. I don't think the head coach is someone that Ja is going to, like, listen to in that sense. I also don't think I frankly don't think there's a fucking NBA coach in this league that's like, yeah, babysitting's part of my job. Like, John Calipari is a babysitter. You know, like, Coach K was kind of a babysitter. Like, the NBA coaches don't give a fuck. Like, they also don't really have that much power. I mean, NBA coaches are like the ninth richest guy in the locker room. How are they going to tell Ja Morant? Ja Morant's going to look at him and be like, shut the fuck up, broke ass. Like, why would I listen to you? What could you know about my life? And rightfully so. So it's going to have to take like Nike. That's what I'm thinking. Like it's Nike that's going to have to kind of steer Ja Morant. You can't think that it's going to be the Grizzlies. In the league, you know, I think for all the strides that the NBA has made to help guys and how much better of a commissioner Silver is than Stern was, Stern operated with an iron fist. If you fucked around, you found out with David Stern. And Adam Silver has found ways to like rehabilitate guys and try and help them or get them in situations or out of situations in the best ways possible. And I also think the league is at a place where like the boat doesn't rock the way that it used to. You know, when David Stern was in charge, like he was worried about how things would go. You know, David Stern was worried about like how the league would be and what it could turn into, and the league has turned into that, and for all the great things. So like, you know, things don't rock the boat. But also like when you have a superstar who continues to show guns and just the dumbest, it's just he's just so lame. Like it's just such a lame thing to do. It's not even that like it's just the situations in which the guns are showing up. It's just like, all right, dude, like just such hardo behavior that you're kind of like give this eye roll. Am I alone in that? Nike will put a vet in Memphis this summer. Now Malik knows. That's a great way to put it. I don't know who the vet would be that would be the like right guy to basically just be like, let's see. All right. Ooh, shit. Here we go. All right, here are the free agents for this coming summer. It is a mediocre ass list if you were hoping to like grab a superstar to fix your team. Like, frankly, I think Russ is going to want more money than the Grizzlies could give him. James Harden is not going to go to Memphis, nor do I think James Harden is the right person to help Ja Morant. Like, I think James Harden going to the Rockets is really intriguing because they need that kind of a leader there. PJ Tucker, how far down? Is PJ Tucker fully a free agent? Bro, is he? Yeah, Talon. I mean, PJ Tucker would be great in that locker room to help him. Because it's just like, what is Steven Adams going to say to Ja Morant? And the worst part is, like, I think Desmond Bane is a fantastic player. But, like, Ja Morant is better than Desmond Bane. Ja Morant is richer than Desmond Bane. And Desmond Bane, you know, the way that he plays is just different. Like, there's no world where Desmond Bane is going to pull Ja Morant aside and tell him what to do. Like, I also think Desmond Bane sees like a bigger picture thing here where he's like, if I don't win here in Memphis, someone recognizes how good I am. And, you know, I think Ja is the same way, but I think Desmond Bane kind of is like about his own business. He's a little more, don't rock the boat. Let's just figure things out. PJ Tucker to the Grizzlies would be fucking great. It's just one of those things though, like AAU is awesome in helping kids figure out where to go and giving them opportunities. Some of these NBA teams though have like kind of run things like an AAU team. I mean, the Hawks, the Grizzlies, they both sort of are letting players who came up and didn't have to get much pushback kind of just run the ship. Like, you hear the stories about what's going on in Atlanta where like Trae Young basically is commanding everything there. And I think that's awesome. I love Trae. That's awesome for Trae. But you're like a multi-billion-dollar operation. What does Trae Young know? Like, you should have more old heads steering the ship with some of this stuff. All right, here you go. This was here. Oh, this is a good one. PJ Draymond would be perfect for the culture. Now, if Draymond went to the Grizzlies. That's very intriguing. I don't know if they have the salary cap space to sign Draymond because they obviously are going to have to. They owe money to. They basically are paying a shitload of money to Jaren, a shitload of money to Ja, and I think then they had to sign Desmond Bane at some point. So I don't know if they have the bread to give to Draymond. But again, Draymond would be a great guy there. The question is, like, does Draymond want to deal with that? Like, I think Draymond's going to stay. And I think that it's kind of going to be a bummer that the Warriors aren't going to get moved. Things aren't going to get moved around because I think that team needs a shakeup, and I think everyone in the league wants to see the Warriors get shaken up. Will adding a vet really even do it? Put Rasheed on the coaching staff. Rasheed Wallace on the Grizzlies coaching staff would fix some things. All right. Also, fuck, man. I'm sorry about the camera. Also, like, Ja, for as good as he is, like, you think he's gonna tell Rasheed Wallace what the fuck to do? I mean, but like, to the point here, there are more issues than the coaching staff there. There are more issues than, like, a veteran leader. It's like, you got to tell the guy, like, hey, buddy, your friends seem cool, but they got to stay the fuck at home. Very quickly, let's do some predictions here. I don't think Russ goes back to the Clippers. I think Russ signs for, like, a smaller market team with a lot of money. Harden, I think, goes to the Rockets. And I think Harden with that young Rockets team is intriguing. I think they'll have the same issues they've always had with James Harden, where he kind of disappears in the playoffs. But maybe with a youthful team around him that is, like, too dumb to be scared, maybe it works. Jalen Green's 6. Chris Middleton, he ain't going anywhere. He's like Stockholm Syndrome. He's too afraid to leave that team. I don't think Kyrie's going to go to the Lakers. I could see him going to the Clippers. I could see him. I think he's going to get to pick where he wants. But I think there are teams that don't want to deal with him. And if the Lakers don't get to retain D'Angelo Russell, maybe they actually do. Maybe they do bend on their word and end up taking Kyrie. Kristaps, who gives a fuck? He's going to play. He'll give you the same flashes he always does, and then he'll get hurt. I think if Kristaps is interested in winning and is a backup player or a third tertiary option on a good team, that's interesting. But Kristaps as your number 2, how many more times do we need to see that shit ain't going to work? D'Lo, I think, goes back to the Lakers. Kevin Love. Now, he's old at this point, but he's been given the Heat good minutes and good plays throughout this playoff run. Man, it would make me happy if Kevin Love went back to Portland, but I think he likes the East Coast a lot. Like, he lives there. He's a very Brooklyn guy now. Like, he's married to a model, so I don't think he wants to be on the West Coast. I really thought Kevin Love was going to come to the Lakers when he got bought out, but he obviously hasn't made a bad choice and has really helped that Heat team. Nikola Vucevic, I think the Bulls will try to do everything they can to keep him. The Bulls got some shit to figure out, though, because that team's a disaster. Okay, sorry, here we go. Real question. Which are the best vets that could be re-signed this offseason? So we're going to run through these, Archie, because this is where we're kind of at right now. Kind of feel bad for the Grizzlies. I do, too. I think that I feel bad for the Grizzlies in general. I also feel bad that, like, Ja getting cooked on that, like, I don't fear anyone in the West line is so prevalent because, like, when Ja said that, there wasn't anyone he should fear in the West. They lose 2 of their best pieces on the interior, and, like, yeah, you can't really recover. I mean, if they have Steven Adams, they beat the Lakers probably 4-2. If they have what's his name that they got hurt? Anyway, whatever. We can keep moving. They need Zebo back down there on that stuff. I mean, Zebo would be a good person to talk to Ja because he, like, understands what it's like to be very rich and very famous in Memphis. But I don't know if Zebo doesn't owe it to that organization. Okay, we left off on Fred VanVleet. I see in the chat, Chris says VanVleet to the Suns. Brandon Clark. Thank you, Maurice. If they have Brandon Clark and Steven Adams, they probably beat the Lakers 4-1, and then they probably beat the Warriors. The hard part with that Grizzlies team is just how little they got from Dylan Brooks. So could they beat the Warriors? I don't know. They're a really hard matchup because, like, that would have been a fun series too, though. Been a great playoffs. Fred VanVleet. VanVleet to the Suns is interesting. I think if the Suns can figure out how to get the fuck out of that Chris Paul deal, be it as they attach him to the DeAndre Ayton trade, if they flipped Ayton for Miles Turner, interesting. Harrison Barnes, Harrison Barnes, I think, goes back to the Kings. But I think the Kings should give a real long, hard look at other names on this list if they can get them. Steven Adams, the toughest motherfucker in the league. The man is a walking brick wall. I think that him and another vet establish a competitive culture in Memphis. I agree, but, like, wouldn't you have thought that Steven Adams could, like, hold that team together? And I think the answer is, like, he can do some, but, like, at the end of the day, like, he and Ja have grown up and are just very different guys, you know? Derrick Rose would not be bad. I see you guys are reading ahead of me. I love that. Jeremy Grant, I have no idea where the fuck he'll go. I would love to see him get to go to somewhere that isn't Portland. I think Portland is just a toilet right now. I don't think there's I love Anthony Simons. I love Dame. I love Jeremy Grant. I just don't think there's any pieces that are that compelling on that team to win a title. I don't think there's anything they could do right now to flip that team to turn into a title team. So it's not a good situation. I watched a video of a kid who tried to use like 2K to show how you could rebuild the Blazers. And it's basically like 40 steps to get them to the exact same place. So unless the Blazers somehow figure out to sign some giant free agent in a shock way, this isn't going to get better. Karis LeVert, I think the Cavs try and retain him. Gary Trent Jr. would love to see him go somewhere else outside of Toronto. Malik Beasley. Now, Malik Beasley is someone who I really love on the Lakers, but they don't play him at all. And he's like not had a good shot. His shot hasn't been falling for months now. So I don't expect him to get a ton of tick in that Nuggets series. I would like him to, just because I think matchups-wise he's interesting. The problem for Malik Beasley is he's not good at defense. Christian Wood, I really don't know who would sign him after this last season. I agree. I think the Mavs, what surprised me is because Mark Cuban is such a savvy owner. He's such a savvy owner, but everything they have done this season everything the Mavs have done this season has reeked of desperation. That trade for Kyrie, Christian Wood, it just feels like even when they went and tried to get Porzingis, like everything they've done, it's felt like has been out of an act of desperation. They have Luka locked up on a contract. I don't think Luka's going to leave anytime soon, but yeah, it's not great. If you're it's not great. Let's see. Derrick Rose, I think him to the Grizzlies would be interesting, but I don't know if he's going to get, I mean, dude, him training Ja and making sure Ja stays healthy, that would be very smart, because sometimes Ja jumps in ways where I'm like, bro, you need to remember like how Derrick Rose, if you watched him when he was young, you see the things he could do and remember like what a bummer it was when he got hurt. Ja needs to take care of his body is my point. Brook Lopez, I kind of think he'll stay in Milwaukee or go to another like high-level contender. Would be interesting if he somehow found his way back to the Bay Area. Obviously, he went to Stanford. If Brook Lopez ended up with the Warriors, I don't know how the money would work. But he would help them with some shit that they've got real issues with. I love Looney, but I think, oh my God, Lopez and Looney would be really fucking annoying if you're an opposing team. Malik, who did you hear was in ownership limbo too? Is that the Grizzlies? Honestly, the Kings should run it back. I agree, the Kings should run it back. I think that they've got good pieces. If the Mavs could get Ayton, man, oh man, that's an interesting one. But the hard part is like, what could you, if you're the Mavs, what would you give up to get him? You gave up picks already to try to get Kyrie. That didn't work out. Unless they like re-sign Kyrie and then trade him for but like I don't think Kevin Durant is against playing with Kyrie. I think Kevin Durant is probably, if he's smart, wary of playing with Kyrie again. God, I don't know what the fuck is going on with my camera. We're going to probably wrap here soonish, but let's finish this list. Kyle Kuzma. Let me tell you about Kyle Kuzma. That man is going to get a fucking bag from someone, and he deserves it. He's played very well. You will not win shit. It is going to be a team like Washington that's going to give him a shitload of money. That's what he wants. He deserves it. And he is going to absolutely cook while they win 15 games. I love Kyle Kuzma, but you should not be giving Kyle Kuzma the money that someone is going to give Kyle Kuzma. Jordan Clarkson, I don't think he stays in Utah. I think he goes to a competitive. I just see him going back to somewhere competitive again. Maybe the Clippers, if they have the money or the spacing. I just don't know. Anyway, I see you guys like the Kuzma lines. If Kuz comes back to LA on a bargain, hell yeah. But Kuz to the Lakers for the money that Kuz wants, fuck no. You want Kuz in Detroit? I mean, he's a Detroit kid. That would be awesome. But I think if you're Detroit, it's not bad. I just don't think you want him. I don't think you want him for what he's going to cost you. And I hope he gets paid, but I hope he is a long, long ways away from my team if he does. Jordan Clarkson, again, to a competitive team. I think Josh Hart should re-sign with the Knicks. I don't know what people are going to give him, but he was awesome for that Knicks team other than those last few games. I hope Kelly Oubre goes to somewhere that's like a big market team. It's been annoying as shit watching him bro, blow up the Hornets. Why the fuck do we have a team in Charlotte? Why? Everyone that goes there, you don't watch them. Even LaMelo, don't you feel like LaMelo's star has dwindled because everyone that goes there just it puts this stink on you as a player? We wasted how many years of prime Kemba there? That fucking sucks. Move Charlotte to Vegas. Add a team in Seattle. That's my philosophy. All right, I think I'm gonna have to jump here because the camera's getting really shitty. We'll finish it out a little bit more though. Josh Richardson, don't know where he goes. Literally no idea. Someone will sign him. The question with Josh Richardson is there money out there to give him a multi-year deal, or is he gonna do a prove it deal and go to a bigger market team where he thinks he can get himself a bigger bag? Jay Clark and Kuz back to LA. I wouldn't mind Jordan Clarkson back in LA, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't know if the Lakers have that money. Dylan Brooks. Someone will sign Dylan Brooks. He's not a very good shooter. He's a decent defender. Archie, I agree. Bring the Sonics back bring the Hornets to Seattle. Dwight Powell, I hope the Mavs let him go because I don't think they're winning shit with him. I think he's a decent player. I just think when he was in college, he cooked. And he's had good years. It's just the amount of minutes they need from him or it's time to let him go. THT, don't know what he's going to get. Don't know where he's going to go. And then these last few guys went through. Alec Burks, no idea. He's in year 12, which is crazy. Feels like not that long ago he got drafted, but I'm old. Jay Crowder, going to go to a contender. Going to get the fuck out of Milwaukee. He will not go to play with LeBron again. That is for damn sure. But, there are plenty of teams out there. I could see him going to the Clippers if they have the cap space. Depot. Love Depot. I feel really bad for him because I think it's kind of cooked now. I don't think if you're a Depot fan, I don't think you're getting to see. I think the number of games where you're fucking Victor Oladipo was electric last night are going to be very, very limited. So anyway, all right, we're going to wrap just because this camera flicker is pissing me off. But I will be back at some point this week. I got to figure out the best day to do this. Phineas, thank you for the sub. I just saw that in the I just saw that in the Twitch chat. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Matisse Maxi. Yeah, bro. Chat GPT doesn't know what the fuck it's talking about. All right, I got to get out of here. It's really flickering bad. But thank you guys for tapping in. I'll be back again next week. We had a lot of people in here today, so I think we will be trying to do like morning, afternoon ones going forward. So come eat your lunch with me, hang out, we'll talk shit. I had a lot more planned, but this tech issue is frustrating me, and I want to get that figured out because otherwise I can't make VOD clips for you guys. But thank you guys for watching. As always, I will be back on the podcast tomorrow night, and then I will likely stream again maybe Wednesday afternoon and Thursday afternoon, depending. So look for those, but we'll put out something ahead of time. But thank you guys for tapping in, and I will be back I'll be back Wednesday, Thursday, and Tuesday. So enjoy. Later, guys.